Derivatives trading involves a substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, so I just screwed up the recording, but that's okay because we're not trading before 6:30. It is non-farms payroll day. I'm not necessarily expecting anything too dramatic, but you can see the liquidity has already pulled. We're 5 minutes out. So for our hypos here, if I can pull up my chart, which one is it? Okay. So here we are. We moved down yesterday. I tried making a fade trade right here, and it didn't work out. And I ended up 4 ticks lower, but it wasn't a huge bad day, so that's okay. Now when we came here in the overnight session, we've pushed 151.21 several times, but we've also hit up here this 151.28, so that's why I've got that 29 level. And if we push lower, I think we come down to here. Here's our targets on the upside. Sorry, up here. Oh, where we opened at yesterday. Anyways, there's also 152.06 right here. About that was the key level I was looking for yesterday. No, was it 2 days ago? I don't know. It's been a level, so somebody was just mentioning that in chat, but anyways, 2 minutes. I'm not really paying too much attention to the levels because this is non-farm payrolls. You know, once that comes out, everything else is irrelevant. So we'll see what happens. Hello. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the numbers. Okay. Earnings in line with expectations. Employment change higher than expected. Unemployment rate went down. Then, And equity want to go higher off of this news. Okay, and that 21 level didn't hold. 152.
Pilotui said long 3C at 21.
Okay, so here's some contracts at 25. 484 at least. I'm expecting this to go down afterward, all this. A little too thin to be playing this. Push through that.
Pilotui said. Pilotui said out at plus 550. IQ said nice. Pilotui said LOL. Pilotui said THX. Pilotui said 06. Pilotui said is in play.
I'm gonna put on the brakes here. I'm gonna have to make another push. one more upward push. Plus. Okay, couldn't. Like a hawk.
Mar said GM all, let's rock and roll. Pilatui said hey Mar. Mar said hey pill. Mar said I am hopping, everyone here is long.
I tried shorting it when it came up to the top there, but there's definitely an upward trend there, but I'm honestly a little confused why we're here. I don't think there's any.
Pilatui said I got out. Pilatui said 06 was touched. Fran said I scalped. Mar said you guys have to ride then when they start ripping. Let it g a little, put a stop at your scalp profit after it passes it, then it's a free trade.
One more.
Pilatui said took a quick plus 2t. Pilatui said plus 680 tots. Pilatui said almost out from my loss yesterday. Mar said that awesome. What AR tots? Pilatui said totals. Pilatui said LOL. Pilatui said crispy crown French fries. Mar said 680 ticks. Pilatui said no. Pilatui said dollar. Pilatui said S. Pilatui said LOL. Pilatui said I lost $7.50 yesterday. Mar said oh, I was going to say, ouch. Pilatui said made plus $6.80 today. Pilatui said LOL. Pilatui said yeah, that would be super bad. Mar said no kidding.
This last move up here looks awfully weak. I was looking for it to come back to 6 and it doesn't even look like that. Some mice breaking here and
Mar said bond snip for now, everything looks in line. Mar said.
Nope.
Mar said notice the progression as you get out on the yield curve. Mar said bigger moves.
Up to 08 again.
Mar said, the percent column.
That bid at 3 pulled pretty quick there.
Mar said this is one of those rare times I would say buy the break of the highs. Pilotui said think we consolidate here around 04-08 then push up again. Pilatui said that sounds so personal. Pilatui said LOL. Jiggy MC said LOL.
Wow, look at that. They tried to clear it 3 times before they finally broke it in the 5-year. Big lot bot thing.
Fran said that's what I'm thinking. Fran said not sure about going long here. Fran said way out of sync. Mar said relative directional moves, e.g., ES up 1 tick, bonds down 5, ES down 50 ticks, bonds up 3. Fran said it's a mystery of the universe.
It's a mystery of the universe.
Fran said who knows. Mar said news does not count.
Okay, finally working out for me. Jeez. Our first one that's gonna give us trouble is 30, right? Yeah, look at that. Okay. 29 does not seem to be much. Next one is 25.
IQ said, smiling face with open mouth and tightly closed eyes. IQ said, back to that 28 HMM. Jim said, POC at 25. Mar said, come on, one more tick.
Need to go find a cheerleader emoji.
Mar said never mind, moved my target down to 0.30 on ZN.
Okay, here's 25. So at 25, there was a volume mismatch. This was kind of where buyers really started to step up.
Fran said scalped 1 long / 1 short, now wait and see if a trend develops. Fran said ES holding its high. Mar said Fran, how many ticks each way, what's your scalp target?
So I can see somebody is stepping up here at 20.
Mar said I try for 2 to 3 when I scalp. You.
Do this in the 10-year. 8,000 now.
Fran
Maybe
said
at
4T on
10,000.
most of my scalps. Fran said so 8T so far.
Okay, they pushed through it in the 10.
Mar said nice.
Put a decent offer up, but that's, come on. Whoa, what? Taking a trade 23 through? Wow. Oh my gosh. So we iceberged it at 25. Was it 25? 24. 900 contracts. We went up a tick, we came back down, and it was not there anymore. And look, now sellers are absorbing contracts at 23. Okay, so we hold on a little longer.
Mar said pulled my target again, moved it to 0.15 ZN. Jim said looking for a possible bounce at 19.
Although, we just plowed through a lot of contracts in the 10-year. Get the footprint chart right there, 8,000, 7,000. Look at this. This is all crazy news action, and this is just.
Mar said what's at 19. Hombre Lobo said Seth, where are you streaming?
Yeah, so the
Hombre Lobo said
streaming thing comes up a lot, and the first thing is, um, I don't know if I really have the bandwidth to stream anyways. But then I'm also concerned that, like, okay, so if I'm doing this live, do I start to come under the umbrella of certain regulations, or like, I'm showing everything that's happening, so does that mean that I'm breaking data rules, or I don't know, it's just not something I really wanted to deal with. So, okay, so I got taken out at 25. Gosh.
Hombre Lobo said yeah, as well as possible unpredicted psychological influence of people watching you trade in real time.
Well, I mean, people watch it after I upload it. I've actually been really surprised because people really watch it uh, consistently too. There's a good 50 people that watch it every day, and they don't just like load up the video and check a few spots and things. Like, they watch significant parts of the video, especially now that we've got the Discord room going and stuff. And so there's a little bit more to listen to and hear to keep people interested. Yeah.
Mar said I would stream mine but no screen share yet in Discord.
Yeah. I tell you what, when the screen share in Discord comes out, that's going to be so cool, because you'll be able to share your screen with everybody else in the room. So you'll be able to see the screen of everybody. That'll be a very powerful feature. I'm be interested to see how people start using that when it happens. Okay, so we're not going to stop at 28, so I'm just going to stay out and see if it pivots again. So I got a good win off of that, so I can keep going.
Hombre Lobo said now if everyone could just tell little ol newbie me what trades to take, p. Jiggy MC said how can you follow the screen of 50 people?
Well, the screen that they have on their website just kind of shows this screen where it shows everybody in the room that's sharing their screen, and you get like a little window, and I guess you can switch between them.
Mars said I doubt anyone would want to share their screens.
Maybe.
Pilotui said okay guys, I'm out. Have a great weekend.
Later. And 29 might be a good place to short. That would be an 8 tick pullback. Well, it's a 9 tick really, but it did slow down here.
Mars said you too. Fran said you too. I'll upload those JPGs later, so check over the weekend. Fran said thanks Seth. Fran said I have to transfer them from my trading computer.
Oh, you have them on your trading machine, a different machine. I gotcha. $30 is there? Not.
Fran said I don't do any other internet on my trading computer unless absolutely necessary, try to keep it clean. Keith said at VWAP 10-year.
So here we are, 31 has gone off for traded it. Doesn't look like a breakout, does it? But patient for me to go short here. There you go. Yep. Top to middle one. That's a 12 tick pullback. There.
Keith said damn it's really moving this morning.
That is. Gap. Do we fill the gap? Buyers still stepped up.
Mars said good morning, if you on the right side of it, lol.
Meh. Okay, they took out 01. And we're going to keep going. Okay. Stepping up there. Well, I don't think we're going to break a new high. At this moment, I don't think that we're going to. I'm short from 01.
Jiggy MC said we're at prior swing low, technically this is resistance, there's a seller at 8.5 in ZN, now is see if buyers be able to still hold this.
Yeah. Thing is, we didn't even really chew that much into 8/2. And look, sellers are absorbing at 150. Aggressive buying. One feels like a good spot to be short from. I like it. I'm happy with my entry. If we can just get that bid to pull. There he is, observing at 152 even. Ouch, that one must have hurt. At 30, somebody gonna sell 30? You're gonna sell 6. Yes. A little too tepid. Thirty's pulling. At 29. Come on, the 10-year did it. You can do it 230. What do you think they're waiting for?
Jiggy MC said a moment of pause, now, relax, waiting for ES to open.
Yes, I didn't read. better.
Keith said trading in yesterday's range. Jiggy MC said 2.5 were a nice test.
Fighting here. Seeing absorption right below the volume node at 31. Yeah, E-mini's awfully slow there at the open. No, it does not look good for equities, does it? Nope. No trades in the 30. Just sitting there. Like the level 2 is going all over the place. Looks like they're gonna push through 7 there. And the 10. Good offer. Hmm. Come on.
Jim said debug mode.
That looked like a false breakout right there. Came out and somebody was immediately absorbing on the top. big offer there to move forward.
Jim said taking sell stops.
Finally falls out. Definitely resistance if expected. Iceberg at 21 again. Pushed through it. Buyers trying to stand up to him there. Iceberg at 21 now selling. You can see how fast they came back there. Wow. It doesn't matter how many times I see things like that. I find them amazing every time. Taken down. What do you guys think? You think we're gonna get a new low?
Jim said a few more ticks short.
Hmm. So now the E-mini is taking off here. Are we gonna sell? Gonna recover. Because the correlation has been all over the map this morning.
Jim said loves sell stops. Jim said only 299 longs after all that action.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's a good point, Jim. Is Jim in here in the chat? Yeah, he is. Yeah, I see the same thing on my cumulative delta difference. At 151.14, I only see 200 long.
Jim said high over 4,000.
Yeah, I think there's a really good chance that we take a new low.
Jim said yep. Jim said one day. Jim said be nice to see the deltas at each price.
What do you mean by the deltas at each price? Like on the footprint chart?
Jim said on every candle yes.
Yeah. I could probably add that in there. Then you'd have 3 columns on each candle. That would be might get a little excessive. What I'd like to do is have some sort of want to make it so that these candles, they're like a volume profile. Then color it differently based on what the delta difference is.
Jim said open the bar a bit and insert between the sold and bought.
Yeah. You're just not able to see as many bars. You could add it as an option. There's some
Jim said in the candle body true.
Yeah, there's some issue with my candles. I haven't seen it in a while, so maybe it's gone. Maybe Ninja Trader latest version of Ninja fixed it, but there used to be an issue where sometimes my footprint chart just wouldn't print, but I haven't seen it for like a month. In fact, I think it's happened once since I've started recording. And got some other problems because this one right here, there should be one of these volume profiles should be over here and it's not showing up. Haters. On there. I don't know what the deal is.
Jim said okay, you need another NT update then.
Oop, there it went.
Jim said done. Jim said 352 short for the session. Jim said 608.
At about 10:05.
Jim said gotta watch the action also. Jim said L2 action /.
Now that move. I mean, it looks like they're trying to put pressure on 16 and it's just not going.
Jim said the footprint reveals a lot.
It's just kind of the expected gains at 16 though. They're probably, where did we have that initial issue? 18? Yeah, because we couldn't push through 17, huh? We're gonna come back up here, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 ticks.
Jim said fair value here.
Yeah, how are you determining fair value? I've seen you say that a couple times.
Jim said when demand and supply overlap.
Oh, I see. So you're looking at supply and demand on maybe your longer term charts and saying, hey, they overlap here. So it seems like people want to take it both ways here.
Jim said all charts. Jim said yes.
So that was your 4 tick pullback. Let's see if they flush lower.
Jim said the 5-day POC same price as the session's POC.
I get you.
Jim said 25. Jim said 26 tick range today.
I've caught some good swings on this move today. Hit a bunch of little losers. So I mean, I probably could have had $1,000 day if it wasn't for all that mess, but I'm still up pretty good now.
Jim said we are 782 short contracts now. Jim said good. Jiggy MC said never trusted Delta figures.
No? Yeah, the thing that I find interesting about the delta that took me a long time to learn is that it's not just a delta. It's like a delta shows up and then the price moves in a certain direction, and then it seems to be pretty reliable to me. It's just like,
Jim said mystery bag stuff. Jiggy MC said really?
yeah. So like, it's just like anything else. When you see a delta, I might want to get out here. Hold on a second. It's gonna take 18. Okay, so if I see a bunch of orders going into a price, you know, let's say that we start testing the lows at 13 and we start seeing a bunch
Jim
of,
said always rubbery but the best we can get.
let's say that we're at the low of the day and we're seeing a lot of orders go into 13. We don't know if the guy absorbing contracts there at 13, if he's going to win and hold, or if the sellers are going to overwhelm him and push through and then, flush 12, 11. So you kind of always get those key points where you don't know what it's going to do. So if we come down to 13 and we get a big delta and then we don't push through it and we push back up to 15, that's a pretty good buy signal right there.
Jim said
that means
true.
he won. That means he was able to hold it.
Jim said the MM runs the game, he holds all the cards. Jiggy MC said but you can read that by the volume itself, delta confuses me, I prefer to see the real volume.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. In the end, it's the same thing. It's just different ways of looking at it, right?
Jiggy MC said yeah.
See, I very much prefer to see what they show on the Jigsaw DOM. Not just because, I think it shows you more information, but I also
Mar
think
said there are no MM for bond.
it makes a difference how many contracts it takes to push through at once. Like it goes up and it trades 100 and that doesn't do it, and then they go again and they do 200 and doesn't do it. That matters, and nothing else shows you that other than Jigsaw.
Jim said we read delta, volume, sold and bought, L1. Jiggy MC said yeah, the current trades column. Mar said especially know that the pits are closed.
Yeah, well, there's market makers in the bond, but it's not the same as some other contracts, right? There are some other contracts where there's definitely like one guy that pretty much holds all the cards, like especially the the currency futures. Man, you can. I had this. There was this other guy.
Jim said yep.
Who was also named Jim, and he was actually the one that prompted me to make my footprint chart. And he showed me one day how you watch the footprint, and he also had these indicators that showed you where the buy and sell was. And he showed you, okay, now watch, when you got a bunch of people over here on this side and the level 2 switches, it goes down and stops them out every time. It's like the market maker knows there's a bunch of people over here to stop out, and so he just goes down and takes them.
Jim said yes, sir.
Now in bonds, there is multiple market makers. So what you end up with is you got these guys at the big banks. So Goldman has one, and JP Morgan has one, or maybe even multiple guys, and they're just allowed to trade ridiculous numbers in terms of contracts. And that's how you're able to have these iceberg orders at some places that can absorb up to 1,000 contracts, right? And you can see what they're doing, because like that's one of my favorite trades is when you see it's 300 bid by 300 offer. That's basically two market makers are basically standing up and saying, oh hey, I'm here. you know you don't want to fight me. And then if it turns out that they're both pretty big, then they start testing each other to see how big the other person is. And at some point the other guy will be like, okay, this person is willing to offer up a lot more contracts than I am, and so he will get out.
Jim said they get hungry too.
Mm-hmm.
Jiggy MC said but behind all of that we have also all options strategies that end up ruling the futures. Jim said talk to a guy in Europe today that code AI for the big banks, most interesting.
Yeah. See, the reason why I started using the DOM was because one time when I was in New York, when I just started working, and there was this girl, this Asian girl that was a trader, and she was having an issue with her DOM. And the issue she was having is that they have like a macro key. So when you hold the shift key down and you click on the DOM, it doesn't actually perform those actions until you let go of the shift key. And she was like showing, it's not working. Like if I hold shift and I click here, it put the order through. And she was showing how she'd use it to like, she'd hold the shift key, remove, two levels of the offer, and then put in buy orders at two of those and bump the price up too. And that's where you get these gaps on the chart.
Jim said nice.
Um, you know, and they kind of showed me how they have a limit for how many contracts they can use, and they don't like to use too many contracts. Like she's supposed to buy a certain amount, but she doesn't want to like she already has that certain amount, and then she has more to kind of move the price around or market make and try and get it to go in the direction that you want. But you don't want to use them if you don't have to. It's better if the market does it for you, because then when you get into a critical point, you have more ammo, right? And that's why I went to the Jigsaw, because when I started reading the No BS Day Trading thing, I was like, oh, that's exactly what that girl was doing. Like that's exactly what they were doing. This is the way that I want to trade. Because before that, I just swung E-mini futures based on feel.
Jim said he runs AI just for L2 data.
Oh, now that's interesting.
Jim said yes.
Yeah, see, when I worked at the bank, I saw a lot of AI automated trading kind of stuff, but the automated trading that we did was more about how to split the order up between multiple exchanges and things like that.
Jiggy MC said yeah, but you went hybrid there and use way too much stuff outside John teaches winking face. Jim said yep.
Well, so see, here's the interesting thing about doing so because I trade primarily off the no BS setups, right? And when I first started doing it, it just seemed like I saw the signal all the time, and I would just take like two tick scalps, and I would on one contract, and I would like end up negative 2,000 on the day. Like how the hell is that possible? But I was seeing it where I shouldn't, and I had no concept of price risk. So it made no sense to me that, hey, when we're down at like just where we were down at 150, 115, we're only two ticks away from the low of the day. One tick actually. I think we just exactly touched it, didn't we? Like two ticks and you're wrong. And the chances of it actually going that two ticks is there's a you have less price risk at that point than you do anywhere else. Versus if I had placed in a trade somewhere like I earlier I screwed myself up and I was trying to trade around 151.28. It was all over the place over there. For you to be you get into the wrong spot. And like if you get in sell down here, and now it's like one, two, three ticks, And then for it to really break
Jim
out,
said pain
that's like
plus.
6 ticks, right? For you to really be wrong, 6 or 7 ticks. And I didn't understand that concept. And I also didn't understand why, it would stop at certain levels and stuff. And so that's why I kind of started to incorporate more stuff. As I realized that you really do have to use the order flow with something else. Now with John from No BS Day Trading, as far as I can tell, he just uses the last swing as his low price risk entry. But I like to use the market profile levels or like previous highs and lows and stuff.
Jim said so he does a lot of calculations on each swing.
I don't think so. The thing is, I've never taken his live webinar, so I don't really know. But based on his descriptions in the videos for the course that he did take and what he says in the book, he looks for
Jiggy MC
places where
said
you
he
only have to
uses
be
the
two
charts.
ticks.
Of
Yeah,
course, no other way to get your areas of interest but after those areas being on the DOM, he no longer look at the chart,
yeah,
all is on the DOM.
yeah.
Jim said okay.
He has a good memory. I think that something that makes a really good Dom trader is they have a good memory. He knows that we pivoted or we did significant stuff at 26. He doesn't have to look at the chart to remember that.
Jiggy MC said it's a question of training you brain.
Yeah.
Jim said can he see when the MM is eating limit and slash or stop orders?
Hmm. I don't think he looks at stop orders particularly. I've noticed, so when I was using the Jigsaw tools with just NinjaTrader, it would show me those orders that come in between the bid and the ask all the time that get highlighted. Now that I'm doing it in Rapid Trader 2, I almost never see those.
Jim said oh. Mar said there are no MM for futures, or really stock anymore.
Now for stocks, they're definitely the specialists. Still a thing. Like really, I mean, there's a couple of reasons why people do futures, but the fact that you just can't compete with the specialists is a big one.
Mar said there are no specialists in futures.
No, it says a specialist is a term specific to stocks. It's basically saying he's a person that specializes in just trading that one stock. And when you go to like when you see on
Jim
TV,
said they run so many strategies concurrently.
like when you see them at the stock exchange on TV, at those little desks, that's basically what those guys do. Is they're specialists, and they have all sorts of data and information that's relevant just to that company or whatever, and
Jim
they
said
trade
yep.
that. And that's why you can't really compete with them because you don't have access to that information. You'd have to, because they compile it themselves, like their firm compiles it, and yeah. They have all sorts of complicated models that sit down and say, okay, so based on what the current interest rate is or what the futures are doing, this is how it should affect my company's bottom line based on all these things. And they get this feedback out. And in order to do that, you have to have this huge data infrastructure back behind it.
Jim said, did Peter Davis ever get into toxic order flow?
I remember him using that word, but I don't remember how Peter Davies described toxic order flow. He's doing a webinar today. I'm excited to see what he has to say.
Jim said it's basically when you get in but the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Keith said on futures.io Seth.
No, I think he's doing it just for the Jigsaw subscribers. So it's probably something that will show up on the Jigsaw Trading YouTube later.
Jim said read the signals wrong.
Yeah.
Jim said okay thanks.
Well, you see in the bond all the time where you'll see a big move one way, and then all of a sudden, and you're like, whoa, that's really, really big. And then all of a sudden there's some big trader that is bigger than the move, just stops it dead and goes the other way. I mean, that's exactly what happened. Where was it? Right here? So with you watching the video, 125.06, I think it was. No, right here, 125.075. So we were in a 2-tick range. We went up and down like 5 times, and then we broke out and like really strong volume, and somebody was just sitting there at 125.07 halves and just absorbed all of it. And what happened afterwards?
Jim said ZB817 contracts long. Jim said so fast too.
Yeah, that move back up was fast. I'm glad I was talking and not watching it, because I probably would have tried shorting it.
Jim said toxic.
Well, my thing, that's the last thing, and then I gotta go. But where is it? Where's my big chart? Where's my big chart? So what? FOMC day was 2nd, right? Okay, so here's the 3rd.
Jim said POC.
Slightly down. We are below where we were at FOMC. Now, in my mind, what has changed since the FOMC meeting? So when I think about it, the FOMC statement is basically, well, we really like what we're doing. We think it's been successful, and we're going to stay the course with that. Even though I know GDP was down a little bit, but it's okay. We're fine. So like really nothing has changed. So, you know, why should there be a big reason to be making a big move in either direction, really? So if I look back, when was the...
Jim said on with the show.
We're here at I want to say, let's just say 150 even. I see no reason right now to get below 150 even. Something would have to happen to push us below there. A lot of this trading right now just seems like trading. Like you go on CNBC and they say, well, people are expecting a June rate hike, and I'm like, yeah, everybody's been expecting a June rate hike since like last November.
Jim said yep.
Because they kind of told us that they were going to do 3, since there's only 4 meetings that they can really raise rates, they're live meetings, and they didn't do one in what was it, February? Then they have to do it, right? They'll do June, and then they'll probably do November. At this little peak right here, this when we got above 153, that was just people were panicking. I actually on this day right here on 418, because I think that was going up because it talks about North Korea. Because I'm buying a house, and I called my
Jim
lender.
said stick to the plan.
I called my lender and I was like, "Hey, what's the rate today? Like, can I lock in the rate?" Unfortunately, they won't. They don't do it like that. But I knew that that price was a little too high. Might just hold it here now. 150, 125 is point of control, yeah. Okay, Diggy. Well, you guys have a good weekend. Good trading, good discussion. See you next week.
Jim said thanks, Seth.